Let's see. Oh, this is one thing that I want to talk about. So, if you guys don't know about the website Metacritic, they take some review scores from a lot of different review companies and sites, and they average them out to give the game a Metascore, which is like its averaged out score, which is something that's pretty good to go by, and it's on a scale from 0 to 100. And it's like I'm kind of just talking about what people are going to give this game for reviews in general, but the Metascore is just kind of a good example of one that's just averaged out for the common opinion of people who are reviewing this game. And it's actually really important that a game gets good scores from reviewers, whether it's actually as good as the score or better than it or whatever, because if it gets good reviews, then it's going to sell more and it's going to be better for Sucker Punch as a company. And
Right.
so that actually matters a lot, because most people will just like look at the score and buy it based off of that, which I actually think isn't a good idea. Like, I think you should look into it and see if you personally would like the game or not. But tons of people do that. And I think from what I've seen from the game so far, I think the Metascore for the game is going to be in between 90 and 100.
That is wishful thinking.
But, like, it is. But every aspect of the game just seems top-notch so far.
It does.
So
yeah, I agree with you.
There's ways that it could go wrong, but it doesn't look like it's likely to go wrong that much. And I was actually searching on Google what people were predicting scores for the game to be, and most people were saying that they think it'll get anywhere from a 7 to a 9 out of 10. And like most people were saying 8. I think 8 is possible, but I think it's only possible as a average score if there is something that was kind of bad in it that didn't make it as good. Because right now, it looks really good, but what bugs me is that people don't know much about the game because it isn't that popular, so they don't think it looks as good as I think it looks. And I even read an article, I can't remember who wrote the article, but it said that something like, obviously Second Son's main selling point is its graphics, which I had a nice laugh at, because obviously the acting and the decisions and the gameplay and just so many things about it seem like they're going to be good too. Like, yes, it has good graphics. I could kind of care less about the graphics, although it fits with what they're trying to do, is making it seem like a realistic world except for the powers. But I could really care less about how good games look. Like with next gen things, I care more about things like how many enemies they can put in one level, or how many of these things can they make, or how big, or not really big, or but like how detailed they can make the map. I could care less about graphics, because really they're cool the first few times you play the game, but it's not a big surprise or something that you really just keep loving as you play the game more and more.
Yeah, what makes the game fun is the actual gameplay, and I get that. I actually heard the stupidest thing. I was watching a live stream on Twitch, and these people were, commenting on this guy's stream, asking him questions, and someone asked him, "Are you going to get Infamous Second Son?" And he said no, and his reason was, "I'm not going to support 30 frames per second."
Wow.
That was his reason, and I was just like, dude, are you serious? Okay, 30 frames per second. Every single game on the PlayStation 3 was 30 frames per second. Why is that such a bad thing?
Yeah.
That this game, this massive, literally massive, open world action adventure runs at 30 frames. Why is that bad?
I don't know who that guy was, but based on what he said, it would sound to me like he's one of those PC gamers who's like, well, I have 120 frames per second in 1080p. I even have better than 1080p. I have like 4K. My graphics are so good. Oh. And I just hate those people who just care about how good their game looks, and that's what matters to them. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's like, if you really care about graphics, go outside.
Yeah, there's some great realistic graphics in the real
There's your solution.
Life.
Yeah.
You should look at those physics.
Yeah. Those physics feel very realistic, and I wonder why.
Yeah.
But
and if you want to worry about ragdolls, throw a guy off the top of the Empire State Building. There's your ragdoll right there.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
And, so...
You want to talk about day-night cycle.
What?
Oh, man, yeah, no kidding.
I'm not sure if there's a day-night cycle, or if it's like the previous games where it changes as you do missions. I think it changes as you do missions, but there's a weather cycle.
The weather is really cool.
Yeah. And if there's winter and it snows, that would be so cool seeing the city like normal throughout like the first half of the game. Then in the second half, everything has snow on it. That would be so beautiful. Like
kind of like Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah. Like,
yes, that would be so awesome.
It's kind of hypocritical saying that I don't care about graphics and saying that this would be awesome and be so beautiful, but it's not that I care about how like HD the graphics look, but I care more about the style and what kind of cool looks they can give things, whether it's super 1080p, which this game will be, but I also kind of don't care about in a way, or if it's in 1080p but looks cool. I would rather have something in 1080p that looks cool than something in 720p that looks cool, other than something in 1080p that looks realistic but doesn't look as cool.
And I don't think it's really all that graphics that matter, because, you know, let's think about, like, Minecraft here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably one of the greatest games of all time, and their graphics
that game has made
are a bunch of pixels.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's the most played game.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're not exactly modern graphics.
It just works.
Yeah, and
it works for that
what's
game.
good is that they fit the style of the game, and that's something that I'm getting more into with my game reviews when I'm talking about the graphics. I don't care how 1080p they are. I care about if the graphical style fits with the game. That's what matters. Like, Minecraft has a perfect graphical style that fits with the game. And, like, what other games? I haven't played it yet. I think I'm going to play it, but BioShock Infinite, great graphical style.
Oh, yeah.
Portal games, great graphical style.
You played the last level?
Of BioShock Infinite?
Or have you seen, like, a...
Do not spoil it. I plan on playing that.
I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not that kind of guy.
I've not seen it. But, yeah. So, what do you guys predict that the Metascore will be for Second Son, based on what you've seen so far?
The what?
The Metascore. That's the Metacritic website's like averaged out review score for games.
Based on what I've seen so far. Now, even... Wait. How do I like say this? I hate to compare it to this, but you know Aliens Colonial Marines?
Yep.
How much of an
I don't.
horrible fail that game was.
Oh, yes. Oh, God.
And it was so hyped up.
Mm-hmm. Just like Titanfall?
Yeah, I hate to compare it to this, you know? But based on what we've seen so far, I mean, definitely the game in my standards, I'm going to buy it. I don't care.
Yeah.
What people say about it right for now. I'm going to buy it. It's another
Oh
game.
yeah, definitely.
So, any prediction on about what kind of reviews it'll get?
At least a 9. At least a 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm
10.
saying based on what I've seen so far. I think it'll be at least a 9. I think seeing 10 scores would be rare, but some people might give it to it, but like not everybody's going to give it to it. And even if someone gives it a 10 score, then that doesn't mean it's a perfect game. No game is perfect.
Oh yeah, no.
But some are just very, very, very good.
Like The Last of Us?
Yes.
You know, I never played that game.
Oh, you didn't?
Nope.
I've watched people play it, but haven't played it, and I plan on getting it.
You are missing out. You are missing out. You have got to get that.
I will. I will see if I see what I can do. Plus, I heard there's a new DLC out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Troy Baker is one of the main actors in that game, and he has some acting talent. That is part of what's going to make Second Son good, is Troy and his talent and his friendship with the other actors who are also very talented, and how that's going to mix together to just have some of the greatest acting we've ever seen in any video game.
Yeah,
you know
he
what
also
funny?
played. What's funny?
Hold on. What were you going to say? You might be thinking the same thing I am.
I thought that he played Joker. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he did.
The new game.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to mention. Troy Baker has played Joel from The Last of Us, Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite, Joker from Arkham Origins, and now Delson from Second Son.
Yeah.
And it's incredible how many different voices he has. You would never know that unless you looked at the voice actors for those games.
He's played, he's played as many more than that. He's been in like animes. He's been in cartoons and tons of video games that he just hasn't really been recognized for. But in the past year of 2014, Troy Baker has really become the new Nolan North. People are saying, and
that's right.
For Booker, his voice sounds the most like Delson out of all of those characters.
Yeah,
he's kind of a normal guy.
Voice.
But then for Joel, he's like a guy in his 50s, and Troy's like in his 20s, but he sounds just like he's a guy in his 50s and stuff, and he sounds so perfect for the character model and stuff. And then for the Joker, I haven't seen much of or heard much of him as the Joker, but I'm sure he sounds like the Joker. So
he did a great job.
That's going to be pretty
I
diverse
played through
from
Arkham Origins.
other
It
things.
was great.
Yeah.
Now, I know this is kind of off topic, but you guys were mentioning Troy Baker, and that got me to thinking how there was an interview with him, and they were talking to the girl who plays Fetch. I forgot her name.
Dang it.
Laura Bailey.
Okay.
Yeah, Laura Bailey.
She feels unappreciated if she ever sees this.
I know. I know.
Which she's not.
He mentioned how she was a really hard boss when they were a boss fight.
Oh, all right. That's interesting.
Wait, for which game? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Infamous Second Son.
Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, for duh. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of off topic, but I just thought I might as well get that out.
So someone got to play the boss, the boss fight.
Troy did, yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Him and I know that Travis Willingham played it too. Maybe some other actors, but I know that they got to play Second Son. And they said that it was awesome, and like it'll blow your minds, and it is going in places where you would have never thought it will, and that you know nothing about the game right now. Like you know nothing Troy was saying on Twitter, and they could just be saying that because they're obviously actors in the game and they want it to sell and stuff. But I honestly think that there's going to be some huge plot twist, and that the game's just going to be great because so far from what I've seen, the game doesn't really have any flaws that I can think of. Like, there's been a few glitchy things in the gameplay, but we've only seen demo gameplay, so those are probably fixed in the game. And there's always going to be some glitches when a game comes out, and especially with how consoles are now, to where they can update the game after they're out. But the game looks like it has no problems as far as I'm aware so far. I'm sure it will have some things, even if it's just something small, because like no game can really be perfect, but it looks so good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you were talking about glitches, obviously games do have minor problems when they come out.
Yeah.
Which is fixed easily by a software patch. But I heard the other day that, I want to say Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday of this week, Second Son went gold, which means they finished the product, so now it is ready to ship. So they are finished with it.
Yep. They're putting it on discs, and they've probably already made the download file ready. They just don't have it public to download yet.
Yeah, it's not unlocked.
Yeah. Part of me feels like in the future, if there's games that I really can't wait to play, like Second Son, part of me thinks I should pre-order them online so that I can download it at like 12 o'clock a.m. on the day it comes out, and once it's done downloading, I can play it. Or with Second Son, they have the thing where you can play it while it downloads, and with more and more games, they're gonna have that.
Oh yeah.
So that would be cool, just being some of the first people to play the actual game and just getting it as soon as you possibly can. But I want my collector's edition, and I don't feel like spending $60 twice on the game, although I'm spending $80 on the collector's edition.
That brings up an interesting topic. Personally, this is a little bit off topic from Second Son, but I have a big gripe with the way games are bought. First of all, online downloads. Okay, now, $60 for a game. Yes, I can understand that. You're putting it on a Blu-ray disc. You have to get a carton. You have to make a manual. You have to hire someone to make the box art. Then you have to ship it, and shipping it costs money. And then you have to, split the cost with people at GameStop and Walmart. I can understand $60 for packaging a real physical game, but why should I pay $60 for a download with no package, no disc? You don't have to ship it. There's no Why do I pay $60 for that?
Something that's actually very interesting is I've heard that with the Xbox One, I can't remember which game they have done this with. They've either done it with Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, or they're doing this with Titanfall. But they're testing it out with a few games. They're making it to where the disc version of the game is still $60, but the downloadable one, and this blew my mind how much of a discount this is. The downloadable version is $40.
Wow, that's excellent.
They're testing that on Xbox Live, or they will be soon, and if it makes things sell better and sell well, then that's going to become a thing. And hopefully if Xbox finds out that that's successful, then PlayStation will do it too.
Yeah, hopefully Sony does that.
Because $40?
But, I mean,
that just seems like such an awesome
excellent
discount. That's such a big discount.
It's excellent. There was something that I thought about, and I figured this would be really useful to people who like to have physical games. Let's say you want to buy a game. You go out, you buy the physical disc, because just in case your console dies on you or it does something and you can't get the disc out, you have the physical disc. But let's say you want to download the digital version one day, and You don't feel like putting the disc in. You're too lazy to get up off your chair and put a disc in for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
If I spend $60 on the disc, shouldn't that unlock the online download for free since I already spent $60 on it? And it's the same game?
That makes sense.
It's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think it would really work if they could find a way to, market it correctly.
And I think right now with the PS4, gaming doesn't really feel like it's next gen yet. Like, there's prettier graphics, but it doesn't feel like that next gen experience that I'm hoping will come very soon. And these are some of the things that'll make it feel like it is really next gen for me, is once we can download games while playing them for most games, and to where games do things next gen other than graphics to make it good. And also, this is something that I feel like they could have done with last gen consoles. They just didn't do, and are still working on doing this with PS4, but it will be available, is where you can put your PS4 in the sleep mode while your game is still going, and then just turn it back on and play the next day.
Suspend mode.
Or to whatchamacallit, here, I'll go look. Standby, yeah.
Yeah, standby.
Now, I've never used a standby mode.
See, I use it all the time. The only reason I use it is actually, I don't know if you know this, but if you start to download a game and you don't want to wait for that game to fully download, if you put your PS4 into standby mode and you have it set to connect to internet while it's in standby, download the game in standby mode and install it ready to play when you turn it back on.
That's nice. So that's kind of like with the PS3, how if you were downloading something, you could set it to your console to turn off once the download was finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can set your PS4 to turn off once it's finished, but standby mode doesn't take up that much power, so it wouldn't be that bad if it was just like that. Okay, but yeah, back onto Second Son.
What are we talking about?
Anything. Oh, okay, here's one thing that I thought was interesting. In the downloadable brochure from Bioframe Diagnostics, they talked about powers that conduits have had, that they have seen. And so all of those powers that they mentioned are ones that are possible in the game, but I don't think we're going to get all of those. But one that I really thought was interesting that we haven't thought of, which makes a lot of sense for Second Son, is paper.
Paper?
And why it makes sense is, one, it doesn't make sense. Two, it's found in cities.
Right, because they use neon and, three, and smoke first.
Yeah, and three, it's a material that has not really been used as superpowers in anything else.
You know what? Speaking of that Bioframe website, I remember, I think it was on the Conduits Right League page. Someone was talking about conduits with the ability to filter water.
Oh yeah. That would have to fit in with a water power.
Paper. How would paper work? Did it describe how the conduit?
I've been trying
to
think about it, and I haven't figured anything out yet. But
because if you think about it, paper would make sense, because you remember the first E3 gameplay we got? About halfway through the gameplay, Delson shoots those newspaper
and they fly out of the newspaper stands.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. And there's trash in different parts of cities, and there's a lot of trash that is paper, so you could like drain from trash cans or dumpsters and get some paper out of there. But there's still that question of what would be the use for it. which was the question that I had when I first heard that it was smoke and I first heard that it was neon.
Yeah, it's a question for everything. And then they come out and surprise you with the most obvious thing.
Just with those, I can think of some things that you could do with smoke and neon, but with paper, I just can't think of anything at the moment.
Well,
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
you could go on giving everybody paper cuts.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that in my
lemon juice on
breakdown of the website in some trailers, which hasn't been uploaded at the time that we're doing this for viewer people who have probably already seen that. So, anyways, what are you guys going to be doing on your channels for Second Son?
I'm gonna make a funny moments montage. That's pretty much all I'm gonna do. I'm not really good with the story stuff.
Yeah, but that fits for you because you're a really funny person who can make really funny videos and talk about random things like tacos and pound cakes.
Well, if there is a taco power, we know what song's coming on.
Yes.
Oh God.
It's raining tacos.
Because that taco power is totally going to happen.
Oh.
It is 127% confirmed to be legit.
I'm just saying, you find a Mexican restaurant, ain't no stopping me.
Now, coffee would make more sense. That's what we were talking about when we got disconnected. The coffee power. Like, what would be cool is if you could turn into coffee and use coffee, like, maybe burn some people with it, but just to mess with them, and it doesn't do any health damage to them, and it's useless and a joke. That would just be so much fun in a strange way to where it's fun to mess around with. There's absolutely no use to it. It's just a big joke.
You could use it like Sasha's black tar, spray coffee all over someone's face, and they just go absolute ape shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And maybe like turn into a coffee puddle and move around on the ground, except for it wouldn't be like moving as a puddle fast. They'd make it slower than you running just to make it useless.
Oh man. That's hilarious.
If they do that, I will laugh so hard. I'll probably laugh straight for a whole video of where I get that or something if it's in there. And
oh man.
I don't know. Like,
well, just
there's
think
not
about
very
it.
high
I mean,
chances of
what
that.
does coffee do?
There's not very high chances of that, and Sucker Punch are known for being silly with putting in Easter eggs. I'm not sure if they would go up to that level of silliness, although I'd love it if they did something like that, as long as it doesn't affect major story and just screw up the game. But they're known for their comedy side, kind of, with certain like Easter eggs and things. That would be awesome, but of course, like, me having the same idea as them to put a coffee power in the game is not likely.
I just thought of something.
All right.
So you know you're talking about the coffee power?
Yeah.
How you gotta drain your powers to get them?
Oh yes.
Drink coffee.
Just walk up to some random guy just drinking coffee. It's like, yeah, let me just take this for a second.
Yeah, guess what? I'm stealing your coffee.
Bad karma.
Yeah.
It makes it go down like 50% when you steal their coffee. It's like, dang it, I just lost my coffee.
The trophy, steal 50 coffees.
And then it's good to walk up to one of those coffee shops where you don't go inside, because you don't really go inside for the most part. But, like, those ones, they had it in the first demo. It's like, I forget the name of the coffee shop. It was something
the Late
coffee.
Owl?
Huh?
Is it the Late Owl?
No, it's not that. It's a small, like, little coffee shack.
It's like
that would be awesome if
Starbucks.
you could go up to that, and order some coffee with your XP, and that's good. And it's bad if you steal it from someone.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
This is way too complex, and they never put this in, but I'd love it if they did.
Oh man, that would be hilarious if they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's another question though. You remember the sharing is caring trailer, right?
Sharing is caring. Yeah.
What
I was
is
just watching that a
Delson
second ago.
holding? What is he holding when he's sitting down? Is that a PlayStation Vita?
It looks... The first thing that I thought was that it's a PlayStation Vita, because this is a PlayStation exclusive. They're probably trying to promote that. I hope that is. And it's a funny... like, sort of like advertising in a way, but just, like, such a funny thing. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that Second Son is remote play compatible on the Vita.
Yes, it is.
But I'm not going to buy a Vita just to play it, and I probably enjoy playing it on PS4 more. And I don't have a Vita.
Same here.
I'll probably get one sometime in the future, but I just don't really see a need for it right now.
Yeah. I had a PlayStation Portable
Yeah, me too.
until a sibling got the bright idea to put the game cartridge in backwards. So.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will buy a PlayStation Vita once they make it to where you can play any game when you are not at your house, when you're like out shopping or like on some vacation. I will buy it once you can play games from anywhere. That will feel like next gen.
Yeah. It needs to be the network needs to be worked out better so you can play it
Yeah.
anywhere. Because right now, realistically, you can actually play it anywhere, but you're not going to get a very good connection unless you're at your own home.
Yeah,
connected to your
and
Wi-Fi
it's like
network.
not every game either.
That's true.
One thing also that will feel kind of next gen is using the touchpad more, and this is something that Second Son is going to be really good for. And I like how they haven't made the touchpad too much of a main control that you have to use to fight or something, to where it just feels cheap that they took away your good controls, but to where they have it for the button that you use to interact with things. You do a motion that is like you're actually interacting with it. That's the coolest use of the touchpad that I have seen yet, and it's the one that makes the most sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like all the different ways that they're using it.
Yeah, so these are the two conditions in which I would buy a PlayStation Vita. Either if they have that thing to where you can play games from anywhere in like any game, like all the time from it, or if an inFAMOUS game is made exclusively for the Vita, then I'll get one. Or some sort of a Sucker Punch game, probably.
You know, speaking of the DualShock
I'll be right
4,
back.
I had...
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Well, do you want me to say that, or do you want to wait for the duck to get back?
Just wait, but make sure that you remember it. Oh, by the way, Duck isn't really needed for this. What do you think game reviewers are going to give inFAMOUS Second Son?
What I'm hoping for is at least a 9 out of 10. What I would really love, I would love 10 out of 10, because the game looks amazing. Obviously, it's not Grand Theft Auto, and that, you know, that's a different topic, but Grand Theft Auto just pisses me off. It is so popular that it doesn't feel like they're rating it 10 stars because it's actually good. They're just rating it 10 stars because it's so popular. Like, that drives me crazy about that game.
All right,
I totally agree.
Okay.
All right.
We didn't really talk about Second Son. He just said what he thinks and wants the scores to be for reviews for it.
Yeah.
So I had an idea for the DualShock 4 with Second Son. I know the Power Gunner hasn't played this game, but have you played DC Universe Online?
Actually, I have it downloaded right now.
Sweet, you need to give that a try. It's really, really cool. But the one thing I like about that game, there's different powers you can use. There's like fire and ice, and there's nature, and there's like mental powers you can control people's minds. And each power has a specific color. So fire is orange, and mental is like this purple color. And depending on what color or what power you use, that color is displayed on the light bar. So if you're using the fire powers, the light bar is orange. So I thought it would be really cool in Second Son that whatever power you are currently equipped with, so if you're using neon, the light bar is purple. If you switch to smoke, it changes to orange or something else. The light bar changes colors depending on what power you have equipped.
My hero's name is Larry Bot.
Oh, man.
One idea that I have, since they aren't having a multiplayer in the game, is that for their big DLC add-on, they could have that be the multiplayer, so that when they make the actual game, they can focus 100% on making an awesome single player, and then for the next few months, they can focus on making a fun multiplayer. I'm not going to say an awesome or really good multiplayer, but just something that's really fun. I don't really care if it's super good as long as the base game is awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that idea? I kind of doubt that they'll add a multiplayer, but in a superhero game, and especially since they said they were originally going to put one into Infamous 2, but didn't because they thought it would be weird if everyone was Cole or something. And also because in this game, in the single player, Delsin's power is power absorption, so there's many powers in the game, so that could work well in multiplayer if your multiplayer character only has one of those powers. And there's some sort of a karma ranking system in multiplayer.
Do something like this, but I would absolutely hate it if they turned it into an MMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that either.
Probably, if they ever have any sort of multiplayer aspect in any Infamous game, my favorite thing would be getting into a match with just a few of my friends and using all of the powers and things that I had unlocked in single player and just messing around and doing whatever we wanted to together.
Yeah.
I actually had quite a few good multiplayer ideas. One of them was a co-op idea. Some of them are competitive. Most of them are co-op, though. My first idea was like kind of like a survival mode thing. I'll explain it a little bit. You and your friends, I'm going to say 4 players because that's usually standard. You and your friends jump into this game lobby. You're all conduits with different powers, and you're in a certain area. Like you're in a map. You can't really leave. It's not free roaming, and you fight off waves and waves and waves of DUP soldiers. And the farther you get into the mode, like the longer you survive, the more powerful the soldiers get, the more stronger they get.
More
they bring in the guys with the miniguns.
Yeah. And then there's guys with miniguns, and I bet you that there's something bigger than the guys with miniguns.
Oh yeah.
There probably is.
I don't want them to do something like Infamous 2 where they give you the same boss over and over and you know how to kill it after killing it the first time, so then it's easy the rest of the times, because that got really old.
But the first time was always the worst time.
But I think it's good to have enemy diversity and having some different enemies, and some are harder, but not exactly doing what Infamous 2 did. And also, so I kind of want to talk about karma bombs some, I think, because I think it's an interesting idea that you build up your karma meter so that you can use it instead of either just in Infamous 1 just getting a bunch of energy and it drains from your energy bar, or getting the ionic charges from Infamous 2.
Yeah, I think that's better than the ionic charges. I was not a fan of the ionic charges, particularly because you couldn't control the power you were using. Infamous 2 felt like a downgrade from Infamous 1.
Yeah,
because the
I
first major
definitely
thing
like
is
the lightning
you
storm
can't
more than the
control
first
any
one.
of your own powers. Yeah, it really bugged me.
Yeah. There's also no use of the motion in the controller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just realized something. I think all of my classes in Battlefield 4 may have been reset to the default ones when you start.
Well, that's not good.
Just giving some examples of bad game making that Second Son shouldn't make if I want to somehow relate this to the topic of that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Everything
I
is
just
reset.
remembered something.
What?
Damn.
This game's had so many
Okay.
problems.
So, I think the Pyro Gunner will know more about this than you do, Duck. But after Infamous 2 came out, I started making videos about Infamous 3. This was way before Second Son was even announced. I started
saw
making
one or two of those.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was making prediction videos about what would be in the game, what
yeah.
kind of powers you'd get,
What the
and I
story would
thought
be.
of a really cool power for Cole to have. This power would work by first, of course, aiming. You would, quote unquote, aim down your sights, and it would go into slow motion, and you would tag enemies, and you could tag like up to 5 enemies. And once you were done tagging them, you would hit R1, and Cole would release this bolt of lightning that would chain to each enemy and just shock them all at once.
Kind of like Deadeye mode, right?
That sounds
Yeah.
cool. Okay, I was just thinking of something. Why? Dang it. Okay. I don't think I've told you all of this before, Ian, but this is like how I found you and your videos and stuff. This was probably
alright.
soon after I platinumed Infamous 2 back in, like, I think I platinumed it towards the end of 2011-ish, and I was just searching for Infamous 3 just to see if anybody had any ideas on it or if there was any information about it, and I think I found some of your videos, and I thought it was pretty cool, but at the same time, I was kind of thinking, well, this guy has a kind of cool channel, but there's never going to be another Infamous game. They have finished them, it's done, I don't really think there will be, so I don't really think this guy's channel is going to go anywhere. That's honestly what I thought, so I didn't really watch you that much, because I thought, why spend time thinking about a game that's never going to happen? And then it happened, and I felt stupid, and I had forgotten what your channel name was, so I just searched for Infamous Second Son trailer breakdowns, found yours, finally saw you again, and then I commented on it, and we talked some.
That's awesome, man.
I just kind of met you through Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. We were just kind of thrown into the mix. Just one day, Pyro Gunner starts tweeting you, and I was like, oh, hey, who's this guy?
Yeah, and this was so recent that I shouldn't be forgetting. Duck, you found one of my videos and told me that I should watch one of your Second Son videos, but
Well, yeah.
did you find me
you
through
just like-
Ivy? Did you know me or Ivy first? Because we were
I
both
found out
friends
you first,
prior
'cause-
to knowing you.
I found out Ivy through you.
Okay. So,
And
did
oh dang it!
you just find me by searching Second Son or something?
I was just looking up Second Son one day because I that's better to do. Finished all my homework.
Uh-huh. Well, that's interesting.
It's not like I'm saying yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
And, not sure if you know who Ivy is, Ian, but she's one of our friends on Twitter who I met through BugBite250, who I'm sure you know. We've been friends for a while, but him and guys that he plays with and guys that I'm actually quite good friends with don't have consoles. They only play on PC, and none of them plan on getting consoles anytime soon. So we're never going to, well, for the time being at least, we aren't really going to be able to play that much. So it's kind of unfortunate with that. But someday I would like to just like order them all PlayStation 4s. Like I'll like never have enough money to just spend on all that, but I would like to, or just get a good PC.
Yeah, I really need my own PC. That's a long story I'm not even going to begin to dive into.
Yeah, my computer can't even run a game of Minecraft.
Neither can mine.
Without.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because it's a laptop from 2010, but yeah.
Mine's a laptop from 2012, I think. But it's really gone downhill because I've rendered so many videos on it and used it probably more than it was intended to be used.
Oh yeah, my PC. Well, I shouldn't say mine. My family's PC was actually custom built by this guy who is our computer technician. His name's George, and he actually built our computer like from scratch. He ordered all the parts and everything, so it's got really good specs. But I have made so many videos on there. There are so many saved files and stuff I don't use anymore. I just have to go in and clean it up so it actually runs.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think we should gather up our last ideas and kind of bring this to a close, because we're kind of not thinking of Second Son ideas anymore, and we've said some really good things. We've been going on for like 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is awesome. So I'm thinking we should finish this thing up, and then maybe if we have time, I don't know if there's a game that we all have, probably like Blacklight Retribution, and then let's just play it and do it as a separate thing. Okay? Wait. Maybe.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for watching. I don't even know if this is my video, so I don't know if I should be doing the outro.
Do we all do it?
Sure. Thanks for watching my video. Free cookies if
Thank
you
you for
press
watching.
like. Except for they're fake.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
I'm playing that game.
He's a duck.
Why are you telling me what to do?
Okay.
Have a good one.
I think the video is just going to end there.
All right.
Fair enough.